Let's rank the 8 comic book projects that James Gunn was involved in, whether it was writing, directing, producing, being a showrunner, as he was involved with several films and TV. And in last place is Creaser Commandos. He was the writer for this, and I thought this was a fun series introducing these great characters, being the start of the DCU. But by the finale, it just felt like it was quickly wrapped up, and I think it could have done better with that. At number 7 is the Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special. And I thought this was a fun one. I love the Guardians. It was fun to see Drax and Mantis on this adventure to get Kevin Bacon as a Christmas gift. At number 6 is Peacemaker Season 1. And I loved how this expanded more of Peacemaker, making him a likable character, more of a likable character. And I thought that John Cena did an amazing job portraying Peacemaker. At number 5 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And while I do think this was a great sequel to the first film, I didn't enjoy it as much as the first film, even though I do think this has the best awesome mix. And I love how colorful and vibrant it is. But I wasn't really a fan of how the Guardians were separated. And when they're on Ego's planet, I was ready for it to wrap up. But at the same time, I was still a fan of this film. I enjoyed it. At number 4 is Superman. And I loved this movie. I thought this movie was amazing. I loved how it gave people hope. And I loved David Cornsby as Superman. But I do feel like that at times there was just too much stuff going on. And there was just some plot points I didn't really care for or I think could have been better. But besides that, I just love what James Gunn did with Superman in this film. Superman gives hope, and James Gunn understood that. At number 3 is the Suicide Squad. And I'm not gonna lie, I do feel like James Gunn is best when it comes to the unknown characters, the anti-heroes and all that. Because what James Gunn did with the characters in this film was just amazing. I do believe he is the best writer for Harley in the movies, as he introduced us to a lot of these wacky characters, did justice to most of these characters, and making us care for these characters. This is one of my favorite DC films, and I do believe that James Gunn did great with this one. At number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. And I thought that this was a great wrap-up, a great conclusion to the original Guardians trilogy. I really enjoyed what they did with Rocket in this. As with this film, it could get emotional at times. But at number 1, and my favorite James Gunn comic book project is the first Guardians of the Galaxy. With how this film was, it just amazed me. It introduces us to these great characters that we all fall in love with, that we end up caring for a talking raccoon and a talking tree. As this kicked off the Guardians trilogy in the MCU, the cosmic side in the MCU, and I just thought it was brilliant. Overall, that is my ranking of all of James Gunn's comic book projects. But what will be your ranking? What is your favorite? What is your least favorite? Let me know in the comments below and follow me for more.